good Eric Ramos. I also go by Doc-4 on YouTube. If you ever Googled ocarina, there's a good chance you saw one of my videos. So I'm going to talk to you tonight about a couple different things, but my main focus is teaching you the history of the instrument and the legend behind it in The Legend of Zelda. So, to get started, I'll quickly tell you what an ocarina is. So basically it's an aerophone. It's a type of flute, that's the classification that it is. More specifically, it is a globular flute. If you look at the one like I was playing here, you can kind of see it's a little different than the traditional classical flutes, which are usually based on how long they are. That determines their pitch. But if you look at these, it's more based on the size of the globe. So you can usually see them just get bigger and rounder, and the bigger they are, the more deeper the pitch. And they come in all different types of materials. They're made out of clay. You can see most of these are clay, also made out of wood, and different various metals and plastics. How they work is pretty interesting. So what you usually do is you blow into the mouthpiece, or the wind whip, and your vibrations from your breath resonate within the chamber, and that's what helps produce the tone. You saw me kind of waving my fingers up and down like this. Whenever you have all the holes closed, you have the lowest pitch. And as you lift up your fingers one at a time, you get a higher pitch. So just the rest of the anatomy. Okay, so the biggest question of the night: how old is the ocarina? Shock to me, answer heavy. 1,000 centuries. Any other guesses? 300, 300 or 400, 400 or 500. They're actually about 12,000 years old. Way older than The Legend of Zelda video game, which is really interesting. In fact, when Shigeru Miyamoto first found out about it, I'll get into the history in a second. This is some of the places that they've been found. They've been found in China, Macedonia, going back about 6,000 years old, which is the oldest version of the ocarina that we have. And then been found throughout the Mesoamericas, which is where they became discovered. The Aztecs and the Mayans used these types of flutes for ceremonies and rituals, usually to usher people into life when they were born and then out of life when they passed away. And what's really cool about these, though, is that they play multiple notes. I have one here that can play 2 notes at once, which is really similar to the style that they used to have. What you do with this type of ocarina is you blow into one side to get one range, and then you can blow into the other side as well, or together. Good job. Okay, cool. So, what happened though is around the 1500s, Fernando Cortez, the Spanish explorer, came to the Aztecs and they discovered these musical instruments and dancers and they were fascinated by them. So they kidnapped them and brought them back to Spain, where they kind of showed them off to all the different courts. And what was really interesting is that the people in Spain and throughout Europe tried to replicate these into functional musical instruments because they couldn't figure out how to do it well. So it took about 300 years of people kind of fiddling around with them until they became actual musical instruments. And this happened in Budrio, Italy, which is a couple kilometers south of a town called Bologna. The first guy that actually did it was this man right here. His name was Giuseppe Donati, and he was a clay craftsman, and he started messing with the scale. So what he was able to do was create an 8-tone scale, and you know this like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This is actually one of the ocarinas from his little town in Budrio. This is a traditional style ocarina. This was the very first ocarina. In fact, ocarina means little goose. And let me show you why. If you hold it like this, it kind of looks like a goose. You see, it just has no head, unfortunately. So, it has about an octave and a half. It sounds like this. They were actually used to play classical music. Thank you. So how did they get into The Legend of Zelda? Well, there was actually a huge documentary in the 1980s called The Great Yellow River. And what had happened leading up to that point was that the ocarina kind of migrated thanks to World War II. And it made its way to Japan in the early 1920s, where this man here actually discovered how to make ocarinas himself from the original guy, Akitagawa, who was the first Japanese ocarina maker. And he recorded a soundtrack for this amazing documentary, The Great Yellow River, that was broadcast all over Japan, China, Taiwan, Korea. And many people learned about the history of this river that way, but they also discovered the ocarina, and they were fascinated by this flute, and everybody wanted to buy one. So little ocarina makers started popping up all over the place, which was really cool. And that's how Shigeru Miyamoto discovered the instrument due to the popularity of this documentary. So thank you, dude, for putting it on TV for us. Alright, so now let's talk about the ocarina in the Zelda series. So you guys probably know the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, but how many games has the Ocarina actually appeared in? Does anybody know?
I want to say 3.
I think it's actually 6. Let's count them off. So we have Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask for sure. They actually came out in Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. Link to the Past, which is a strange misconception because due to a mistranslation they call it the flute, but it was actually called an ocarina in that game. So that's 4, we're at 4 I think. It appeared in Minish Cap, and it appeared in there's a Tinkle Ruby game that we did not get in America. There's also an ocarina in that. And there's one more, but I can't remember what it is. So 6 for sure, possibly 7. And going back to the lore of the instruments, does anybody have Hyrule Historia?
I have.
I hope you listen to have Hyrule Historia. It's upstairs if you don't get it. They actually give a hint as to where it came from. They contribute its glow to that of the time shift stone, excuse me. And they just allude to it. They don't actually confirm that's what it is, but there's a good chance that that's exactly what it is. So it has these mystical powers. It's been passed down through the generations of Hyrule royal family, and it can do everything. Like it can control time, it can control the weather, it can talk to animals, it can do all this crazy stuff. So it's basically the most amazing instrument ever made. So what I like to do for you guys is actually play some of my favorite songs from some of these games. This is an exception to all those games appeared in because it was actually a recorder in this video game. So Legend of Zelda theme is one of my favorite songs to play. I'm going to play that right now. Nobody else has them, right?
I have one.
Yeah, I'm with you? Okay, cool. Let's learn how to play this song together really quick. So this is one of the easiest songs that you're going to learn how to play. Snap a picture if you intend to get an ocarina at some point. This is the You Got an Item theme, and it goes like this. Alright, so how the tabs work basically is the black holes are the ones that you cover, so for the first note you're going to be like this with your left hand. Yeah, exactly. And then you're going to shift these fingers with your right ring finger like this. Okay. Alright, let's try it really slowly. 1, ready, go. You got it? Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. You're close.
This
one note, yeah. So see, it's not really that difficult. Now down here you actually see that there's a different type of tablature. That's for this kind of ocarina. Some people have 4-hole ocarinas. Most of these are from songbirdocarina.com if you are interested in getting them. And basically, this is different from the other kind that I showed you where it has less holes, so you do different finger combinations to play the scale. So let me just show you how I would play that bottom in there. So a lot less fingers. Some people think it's a little bit easier. Alright, Link to the Past. This is the one that introduced the ocarina to everybody. So I'm going to play a song that you hardly ever hear in person. This is the Flute Boy theme. So when you discover him before he disappears and dies, which is very sad, this is the song right here.
Spoilers, gosh.
Okay, there we go. Here's another spoiler alert. Zelda's Lullaby comes out in this game first. So let's try this one together. It's a little bit more difficult, but like I said, black holes are the ones you cover first. Here we go. So it goes like this. Good, okay, hold on. We're done. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Second line. Very nice. You guys make a good choir. Very cool. Alright. How about let's get a little bit, yeah, let's see. Oh no, wait. Did I pass that?
Yeah, you went backwards.
Oh, actually, so I have another game before this one. I have Link's Awakening. Anybody beat that one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so quick side note before we get to this. Ballad of the Windfish was the first song that like really captured my attention as a kid. But it did actually, when you beat the game, kind of backtracking, you actually collect musical instruments throughout the video game. And as a child, music and video games are two of my huge passions. So this video game in particular was a huge, it meant a lot to me. So right before you beat the game, you actually take out your ocarina, play Ballad of the Windfish, and all these instruments come up and they play this beautiful melody together. So I saved my Game Boy just before you go into the Windfish egg, and anytime I just feel like really sad or really bad, I just turn on the Game Boy and listen to the song. So this is Ballad of the Windfish from Link's Awakening. I'm actually going to play the backtrack here. So, you know what? Let's do it. Here we go. Take a couple requests from this one, but I'm going to play two of the most requested. So the first one, you'll recognize it. Here we go. Let me get you the copy again though, like this.
Yeah, well,
There we go. Back to playing ocarina with you guys. So this is a song time. This is another really easy one to start with. It looks like it's a lot of notes, but it's actually pretty simple. So how about we try Yeah, okay. Try it together. 1, 2, 3. 1, ready, go. One more time, here we go. 1, ready, go. Nice. Yeah, that second part's a little bit tough, but good. Okay. We're gonna skip this one because that was really difficult. Alright. Let's try. This is another one of my favorite Zelda songs. Anytime someone says, play me a song really quickly, this is the one I bust out. Yay, good job. Alright, let's try this one together. This one's such a beautiful song. I love playing this with piano. Okay, Song of Healing. It just goes kind of like Song of Time. Da, 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 da. Okay, pretty slow. Try it together. 1, ready, go. Yeah, that last part's a little bit tricky. Let's do it together. One more time. 1, ready, go. Good, awesome, good job. Alright. Now I think these next songs are a little bit more for my pleasure. Has anybody played Skyward Sword before? Yes! Okay. So this is going to be an experiment. I've never tried this before, but I want you guys, you can sing if you want to too, but for the people of ocarinas, can you do this? So you're just going to literally say, two, two, two again, two, two. People who don't have an ocarina, you can go da 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 da. So get that rhythm right. Okay, let's try it together. Okay. I'm going to conduct you. There you go. It goes through beats. 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. Keep going. Da da. Yeah, good job. I really want to hear it with a bunch of ocarinas. That was good enough. Okay. The other one, this also does not have an ocarina, but I just want to play one of my all-time favorite Zelda songs now. How many of you guys like Rabia? I love Rabia. This is the Rabia, in case you haven't played the game yet. One of the weirdest Zelda songs I've ever heard is in this game, and I had to learn how to play it on ocarina. So this is the song from Rabia's shop. Okay. Awesome. Alright, does anybody have any questions or requests? I'll take a question first. Let's alternate. So, any questions? Yes.
How can you tell a good ocarina from a bad one?
That is a good question. So, the easiest way to do it is when you have your ocarina, let's say you bought one on Amazon, there is a Zelda ocarina floating around on Amazon and eBay right now that kind of has questionable tuning. So whenever you buy one, I highly recommend you get a tuner. It could be a tuner app on your iPhone or Android phone or an actual like electronic tuner or a piano. And then blow each note one at a time, starting with all holes closed like this. And look at the tuner and see if it's the right pitch. So the first pitch should be C, and then when you look at the next finger, it should be D, E, F, G, all the way up to the highest note. And that's probably the easiest way. If you have a good ear, you can use the piano too and just work your way up the scale. But what typically happens with most ocarinas is it's through rising breaths. So what you do is you blow really softly on the low notes, and as you work your way up the scale, you're going to increase your breath. So at the top, I'm blowing really strongly compared to the lower notes. So just keep that in mind when you're training. Good question. Any requests? Yes. Bolero. Okay, that one's awesome. Bolero Fire from Awkward Notepad. Somebody had a question over here, I think. No? Okay. Okay, yes. I have been playing since the year 2000. So did anybody ever buy an ocarina back when they started announcing it in Nintendo Power? This was the ocarina they showed in Nintendo Power magazine starting in the year 2000. When I saw it, I cried a little bit. So I was like, oh my god, they exist. And then I begged my parents to get one for my birthday, and they did. And 2 weeks later, I actually dropped it and broke it, which was really sad, but I replaced it. And I became obsessed at that point. Like, I was like, I have to have more ocarinas. So in 2006, I got a 12-hole ocarina, and I started collecting. So now I have around 150, I think. I'm actually not sure anymore. But there's a lot. So I've been playing roughly since 2000, but seriously since 2006. So, yeah. Another request. Yes.
Can we please get the Dark Roll from Link to the Past?
Yeah, I see. I like dealing with this with a looping pedal, but this is the Dark World thing. Stop there, because the next part's really tricky, but... Yes, okay. Let's see how I'm doing on time. Alright, we got a couple more minutes. Let me do another question. Yes?
Do you have any tips on how to smoothly transition over to the small hole?
Yes, so when you get a 12-hole ocarina, which are the most common ocarinas, you have these two little holes here, which are called sub-holes. And the easiest way to play those is you play them all holes covered, and then you dip your finger down like this. You just have to kind of smoothly transition your fingers down, and that just takes practice. So what I recommend is when you play that lowest note, just practice blowing and slipping back and forth, yeah. And then the other way to do it is you can actually alternate them, because this gives you B, B flat, and then the low A. And you just have to kind of pivot your finger over the ocarina like that. Yeah, so it just takes practice, really. But another request.
I don't know if it might be too tricky. Dragon Moves Time.
Oh my god, I love Dragon Moves. Alright, so usually like a guitar or like a ukulele, let's see.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. Can you hear me all right up there? Awesome. My name is Jason Michael Paul. I'm the executive producer of The Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses, and I want to thank everybody for coming this evening. So we have a wonderful performance tonight. This is really just a demo, if you will, of what you can experience at the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses. Tonight we'll be performing music from Spirit Tracks, Shot Medley, Ballad of the Windfish, Outset Island, The Minish Cap, and Gerudo Valley. This is the biggest Nintendo stage I've ever worked on. We have a wonderful ensemble tonight of some very talented musicians from the area. Let's give it up. And just before we get too comfortable in the front here, if you wouldn't mind just scooting back a little bit on the front, right where in front of that conductor stand is, just because she's going to stand in between you and, you might get slapped with a baton or something. So without further ado, well, before we get into it, I also want to thank here on behalf of Nintendo. We couldn't do this without these two wonderful people, and especially the whole staff. PJ's been here a very long time at the store, and this store runs because of this man right here, and also because of Dorito, who did events here. So we should give it up for them as well. So let's get into it. You guys ready? I would like to introduce Amy Anderson, our principal conductor, music director, and extraordinaire. She's amazing. And I'm not going to speak anymore this evening, but I just want to make sure everyone here knows about our concert on October 13th at the Barclays. Also, I want everyone to know that we have a new title coming out called Triforce Heroes in the same month, so you can bet there will be some special things at that concert. So, I'll leave you with that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great. So I thought I'd take this time we were discussing, and I think what I'd like to do is actually, I'd like to open it up for any questions that you may have. we'll take some questions. We won't take too many, and then we'll follow that up with a meet and greet downstairs, so you guys can take you guys can single file, kind of get in a nice orderly line. And myself and Amy Anderson will be downstairs. But I'd like to just maybe, if anyone has a question or some kind of questions that we can possibly answer, either for myself or Amy Anderson, we'll go ahead and take. You have to be really loud though, okay? So I'll take this young lady right here. Unfortunately, I cannot comment on that. But you know as much as I do, unfortunately. So unfortunately, no, I don't have an answer for that. So I apologize. I can answer this question right here. I could ask. Let's just ask some of these petitions that we have right here. We'll ask this young gentleman right here. The question is how difficult how difficult is it to learn the music from video games?
It's difficult in its own way. You have to stick to it, and you guys know it a certain way, so you have to try and reproduce it. It's a little challenging.
So his answer is that it's challenging. It is challenging because you know the music better than some of the musicians that are performing the music. So, but that's part of the job of the conductor is to really make sure, and of course the arranger. We try to stay as true to the arrangement as possible from the original sounds. So, thank you very much. We appreciate that. It's music to our ears. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and take this question. Let's show them right here. Thank you. I can answer that. So basically, just so you know, a lot of these musicians that perform at our concerts, and of course here, they really get the music, a lot of them the same boat. So a lot of people are actually learning the music in rehearsals. Typically, the way we do it is we typically, for our Zelda Symphony tour, we typically have a 3-hour rehearsal and a performance. So a lot of these musicians, they're learning and seeing the music for the first time on the day of the show, and they're learning it. So, so again, my tip. I'm gonna take this gentleman right here. We just answered that, but I'll answer it again. Typically it's about a 3-hour rehearsal. So this gentleman right here. Not really, once these musicians are working with some of the finest musicians, so they can sight read. It's like reading a book in another language. They can speak that language and read it. Well, yeah, of course. Just so you know, tonight what you heard was designed specifically for this type of program, but what you hear at the concert itself is we have a 4-movement symphony, and it's what we do is, just to give you an idea of the program that we have for the Zelda Symphony, we have an overture, we have interludes, and then we go into the 4-movement symphony. Okay, so, and then after the 4-movement, we also have a prelude that kicks off the symphony, and then of course we have the finale, and an intermezzo. So it's a really traditional symphonic format that we strive for. So you'll get a lot more. This is just a small representation. Sir? So let me just try to get to the question that you're answering, or asking. The question that you're asking is, are these musicians fans themselves? Yeah, and that's part of the reason why these musicians were chosen for this, because they are in fact Zelda fans and gaming fans. So a lot of the music you heard tonight is music that they've either heard themselves or they play on their own. This gentleman right here, I'm going to have about 4 more questions, and then we're going to have to conclude and do the meet and greet. This gentleman right here. Okay, we're going to point this question at one of the musicians. I'm going to ask this gentleman right here, what's your favorite song to play? From either the concert or tonight? Guido Ballad. So, Guido Ballad. Us, is this question right here? Absolutely. Ocarina of Time, we have a movement devoted to it. So, Ocarina of Time has Saria's theme. It has all the things that we all know so well. I'm going to speak to this gentleman right here, and 2 more questions, and that's it. Go ahead. I'm sorry? Absolutely. We have Majora's Mask, the 3D version that's just been released. We've updated that. We also have A Link Between Worlds. So we have a very well represented program. It's basically it spans the whole 30 years. Well, the whole 30 years. So it's quite the program. But you can also go online. You can also see the whole program online at www.zeldasymphony.com. So it has everything that you need to know about it. And then also you can go to the Zelda Wiki. It has a vast amount of knowledge about the concert itself. So one more question, that's it. I think we're going to get ready for a meet and greet, so if you, I'm sure I can find those questions. So I just want to thank you all, and I'm going to put the mic to PJ.
Okay guys, let's do that one more time for me, ready? Downstairs. We're going to give Jason and Amy a chance to get situated downstairs. So hang out here for 5 minutes and then we'll start bringing you guys down. And thank you everybody for coming.